Bhagavad Gita as it is. Introduction. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Tapidam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. When will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who has established within this material world the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagarajadam Sayagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shri Vishakhan Vitam Cha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master and unto the feet of all Vaishnavas. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami along with his elder brothers Sanatana Goswami, as well as Raghunath Dasa and Raghunath Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta and Srila Jiva Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Lord Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda along with Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar, Srivas and other associates. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srimati Radharani and Sri Krishna along with their associates Lalita and Vishaka. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate. My dear Krishna, you are the friend of distress and the source of creation. You are the master of the gopis and the lover of Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shreya Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. I offer my respects to Radharani, whose bodily complexion is like molten gold and who is the queen of Vrindavan. You are the daughter of King Vishbhanu and you are very dear to Lord Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhescha kripa sindhuvyocha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like the desired trees, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisances to Shri Krishna Prabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivas and all other in line of devotion. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita is also known as Gita Upanishad. It is the essence of Vedic knowledge and one of the most important Upanishads in Vedic literature. Of course, there are many commentaries in English on Bhagavad Gita, and one may question the necessity for another one. This present edition can be explained in the following way. Recently, an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English, but as far as I have seen, not only in America but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinions without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. The spirit of Bhagavad Gita is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita itself. It is just like this. If you want to take a particular medicine, then we have to follow the directions written on the label. We cannot take the medicine according to our own whim or the direction of a friend. It must be taken according to the directions on the label or the directions given by a physician. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita should be taken or accepted as it is directed by the speaker himself. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Sri Krishna. He is mentioned on every page of Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Of course, the word Bhagavan sometimes refers to any powerful person or any powerful demigod, and certainly here Bhagavan designates Lord Krishna as a great personality, but at the same time we should know that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas, spiritual masters like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many other authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. The Lord Himself also established Himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita, and He is accepted as such in Brahma Samhita and all the Puranas, especially the Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Bhagavata Purana. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Therefore, we should take the Bhagavad Gita as it is directed by the personality of Godhead Himself. In the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is 4.1 to 4.3, the Lord says, इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तावानहम् अव्ययं विवस्वान् मनवे प्राह मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे अब्रवीत् एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदु सह कालेन महता योगनस्तपरन्तप स एवायं मया ते अद्य योगप्रोक्तपुरातन भक्तोऽस्मि मे सखा चेति Rahasyam hai etad uttamam. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the Sun God, and the Sun God explained it to the Manu, and Manu explained it to Ishwaku, and in that way, by disciplic succession one after another, this yoga system has been coming down. But in the course of time, it has become lost. Consequently, Lord has to speak it again, this time to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He tells Arjuna that he is relating this supreme secret to him because Arjuna is his devotee and his friend. The purport of this is that Bhagavad Gita is a treatise which is especially meant for the devotees of the Lord. There are three classes of transcendentalists, namely Jnani, the yogi, and the bhakta, or the impersonalist, the meditator, or the devotee. Here, the Lord clearly tells Arjuna that he is making him the first receiver of new parampara, disciplic succession, because the old succession was broken. It was the Lord's wish, therefore, to establish another parampara in the same line of thought that was coming down from the Sun God to others. It was his wish that his teachings be distributed anew by Arjuna. He wanted Arjuna to become the authority in understanding the Bhagavad Gita. So, we see Bhagavad Gita is instructed to Arjuna especially because Arjuna was a devotee of Lord, a direct student of Krishna, and his intimate friend. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita is best understood by a person who has qualities similar to Arjuna's. That is to say, he must be a devotee in a direct relationship with Lord. As soon as one becomes a devotee of the Lord, he also has a direct relationship with the Lord. That is a very elaborate subject matter. But briefly, it can be stated that a devotee is in a relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of the 5 different ways. One may be a devotee in passive state, one may be a devotee in active state, one may be a devotee as a friend, one may be a devotee as a parent, one may be a devotee as a conjugal lover. Arjuna was in relationship with the Lord as a friend. Of course, there is a gulf of difference between this friendship and the friendship found in the material world. This transcendental friendship, which cannot be had by everyone. Of course, everyone has a particular relationship with the Lord, and that relationship is evoked by the perfection of devotional service. But in the present status of life, not only have we forgotten the Supreme Lord, but we have forgotten our eternal relationship with the Lord. Every living being out of the many, many billions and trillions of living beings has a particular relationship with the Lord eternally. That is called Swarupa. By the process of devotional service, one can revive that Swarupa, and that stage is called Swarupa Siddhi. perfection of one's constitutional position. So Arjuna was a devotee and he was in touch with the Supreme Lord in friendship. How Arjuna accepted this Bhagavad Gita should be noted. His manner of acceptance is given in the 10th chapter 10.12 to 14. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Aham Vibhu Ahustvam Rishya Sarve Devarishi Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me Sarvam Etadritam Manye Yanmam Vadase Keshava Nahite Bhagavan Vyaktim Vidur Devana Dhanava. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asishta, Devala and Vyasa confirms this truth about you, and you yourself are declaring it to me. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality." After hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna accepted Krishna as Param Brahma, the Supreme Brahma. Every living being is Brahman, but the Supreme Living Being is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's the Supreme Brahman. Param Dhamma means that he is the supreme rest or the abode of everything. Pavitram means that he is pure, untainted by material contamination. Purusham means that he is the supreme enjoyer. Shashvatam, eternal. Divyam, transcendental. Adidevam, the original supreme personality of Godhead. Ajam, the unborn. And Vibhum, the greatest. Now, one may think that because Krishna was the friend of Arjuna, Arjuna was telling him all this by a way of flattery. But Arjuna, just to drive out this kind of doubt from the minds of the reader of Bhagavad Gita, substantiates these praises in the next verse when he says that Krishna is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead not only by himself but by authorities like Narada, Asishta, Devala, Vyasa and Vyasadev. These are great personalities who distribute the Vedic knowledge as it is accepted by all acharyas. Therefore, Arjuna tells Krishna that he accepts whatever he says to be completely perfect. Sarvam etadritam manye. I accept everything you say to be true. Arjuna also says that the personality of Lord is very difficult to understand and that he cannot be even known by the great demigods. This means that the Lord cannot even be known by the personalities greater than human beings. So how can a human being understand Lord Shri Krishna without becoming his devotee? Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, according to the statements of Bhagavad Gita are the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Shri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And with the submissive spirit, we can understand the Bhagavad Gita. Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nations of material existence. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways. As Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non existence. Our existence is eternal, but somehow or other we are put into asat. Asat refers to that which does not exist. Of course, so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position, as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Unless one is awakened to this position of questioning his suffering, unless he realizes that he does not want suffering but rather wants to make a solution to all suffering, then one is not to be considered a perfect human being. Humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jigyasa. Atahato Brahma Jigyasa. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of Absolute. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering or where they came from, and where they shall go after death are proper students of understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. Lord Krishna descends specifically to re-establish the real purpose of life when man forgets that purpose. Even then, out of many human beings who awaken, there may be one who actually enters the spirit of understanding his position, and for him this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. Actually, we are all swallowed by the tigress of nations, but the Lord is very merciful upon the living entities, especially human beings. To this end, he spoke the Bhagavad Gita, making his friend Arjuna his student. Being an associate of Lord Krishna, Arjuna was above all ignorance, but Arjuna was put into ignorance on the battlefield of Kurukshetra just to question Lord Krishna about the problems of life so that Lord could explain them for the benefit of future generation of human beings and chalk out the plans of life. Then man could act accordingly and perfect the mission of human life. The subject of Bhagavad Gita entails the comprehension of 5 basic truths. First of all, the science of God is explained, and then the constitutional position of the living entities, Jiva. There is Ishvara, which means the controller, and there are Jivas, the living entities which are controlled. If a living entity says that he is not controlled but that he is free, then he is insane. Then the living being is controlled in every respect, at least in his conditioned life. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, the subject matter deals with the Ishvara, the supreme controller, and the Jivas, the controlled living entities, Prakriti, material existence, and time, the duration of existence of the whole universe or the manifestation of material nature, and karma, activity, are also discussed. The cosmic manifestation is full of different activities. All living entities are engaged in different activities. From Bhagavad Gita, we must learn what is God, what is the living entities are, what Prakriti is, what the cosmic manifestation is, how it is controlled by time, and what is the activities of the living entities. Of course, these 5 basic subject matters in Bhagavad Gita is to be established that the Supreme God or Lord Krishna or Brahman or the Supreme Controller or Paramatma, you may use whatever name you like, is the greatest of all. The living beings are in quality just like the Supreme Controller. For instance, the Lord has control over the universal affairs of material existence, as will be explained in the later chapters of Bhagavad Gita. Material nature is not independent, she is acting under the direction of Supreme Lord. As Lord Krishna says, Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Chara Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Characharam. This material nature is working under my direction. When we see wonderful things happening in the cosmic nature, we should know that behind this cosmic manifestation there is a controller. Nothing can be manifested without being controlled. It is childish not to consider the controller. For instance, a child may think that an automobile is quite wonderful to able to run without a horse or another animal pulling it, but a sane man knows the nature of automobiles engineering arrangement. He always knows that behind the machinery there is a man, a driver. Similarly, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the driver under whose direction everything is working. Now the jivas or the living entities have been accepted by the Lord. As we will note in the later chapters, as is part and parcels. A particle of gold is also gold. A drop of water from ocean is also salty. And similarly, we the living entities, being a part and parcel of the Supreme Controller, Ishvara or Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, have all the qualities of Supreme Lord in a minute quantity, because we are minute Ishwaras, subordinate Ishwaras. We are trying to control nature as presently we are trying to control space or planets, and this tendency to control is there because it is in Krishna. But although we have the tendency to lord it over material nature, we should know that we are not the supreme controller. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. What is material nature? This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita as inferior Prakriti, inferior nature. The living entity is explained as the superior Prakriti. Prakriti is always under control, whether inferior or superior. Prakriti is female and she is controlled by the Lord, just as the activities of a wife are controlled by the husband. Prakriti is always subordinate, predominated by the Lord, who is the predominator. The living entities and material nature are both predominated, controlled by the Supreme Lord. According to the Gita, the living entities, although part and parcel of Supreme Lord, are to be considered Prakriti. This is clearly mentioned in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Aparayam itastva anyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam. This material nature is my inferior Prakriti, but beyond this is another Prakriti, Jiva Bhutam, the living entities. Material nature itself is constituted by three qualities: the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Above this mode there is eternal time, and by a combination of these modes of nature and under the control and purview of eternal time, there are activities which are called karma. These activities are being carried out from time immemorial, and we are suffering or enjoying the fruits of our activities. For instance, suppose I am a businessman and have worked very hard with intelligence and have amassed a great bank balance, then I am an enjoyer. But then I say I have lost all my money in business, then I am a sufferer. Similarly, in every field of life, we enjoy the results of our work or we suffer the results. This is called karma. Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, Jiva, the living entity, Prakriti, nature, Kala, eternal time, and Karma, activity, are all explained in Bhagavad Gita. Out of these five, the Lord, the living entities, the material nature, and time are eternal. The manifestation of Prakriti may be temporary, but it is not false. Some philosophers say that the manifestation of material nature is false, but according to the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita or according to the philosophy of Vaishnavas, this is not so. The manifestation of the world is not accepted as false. It is accepted as real but temporary. It is likened unto a cloud which moves across the sky, or the coming of rainy season, which nourishes the grain. As soon as the rainy season is over and as soon as the cloud goes away, all crops which were nourished by the rain dries up. Similarly, this material manifestation, takes place at a certain interval, stays for a while, and then disappears. Such are the working of Prakriti. But this cycle is working eternally. Therefore, Prakriti is eternal. It is not false. The Lord refers to this as my Prakriti. This material nature is the separated energy from the Supreme Lord. And similarly, the living entities are also the energy of the Supreme Lord, although they are not separated by but eternally related. So, the Lord, the living entities, material nature, and time are all interrelated and are all eternal. But however, the other item, karma, is not eternal. The effect of karma may be very old indeed. We are suffering or enjoying the results of our activities from time immemorial, but we can change the results of our karma or our activity, and this change depends on the perfection of our knowledge. We are engaged in various activities. Undoubtedly, we do not know what sort of activities we should adopt to gain relief from the action and reaction of all these activities. But this is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. The position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is that of the Supreme Consciousness. The Jiva, or the living entities, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. Both the living entity and the material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of Supreme Lord, but one of the two, the Jiva, is conscious, the other Prakriti is not conscious. That is the difference. Therefore, the Jiva is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's. The Lord's is supreme consciousness, however, and one should not claim that the Jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The living being cannot be supremely conscious at any stage of his perfection, and the theory that he can be so is a misleading theory. Consciousness he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious. The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kshetrajnana, conscious, as is the living being. But the living being is conscious of his particular body, whereas the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Because he lives in the heart of every living being, he is conscious of physic movement of the particular jivas, psychic movements of the particular jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as the controller, and that he is giving direction for the living entity to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes a determination to act in a certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma. After giving up one type of body, he enters another type of body. As we take off and put on clothes. As the soul thus migrates, he suffers the action and reaction of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, sanity, and understand what sort of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the action and reaction of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we state that of the five elements, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, time, and karma, four are eternal, whereas karma is not.